Welcome back, everybody. This episode is going to be quite the treat here. This is going to be all of the spring maintenance that has taken place so far this year on quite a few vehicles of the fleet. You're going to see Blue Van, the 90 Grand Caravan. You're going to see Blueberry, the 91 Grand Caravan. You're going to see Turnip, the 93 Plymouth Grand Voyager, as well as Gray Van, the 1993 Dodge Grand Caravan LE. I guess I'm not sure when or where this clip will show up, but last week, I believe it was last week, we tried to cold start the 90 Grand Caravan here, Blue Van, and while the battery was a really good battery, it cranked the engine over fine for an extended period of time. This thing didn't fire, didn't do nothing. So it's like 30 degrees warmer. I think it's more than that because it was negative like 18 below, and right now it's like 20, and it's snowing, but I got the jump box, fresh charge on it, got the battery hooked back up. I'd like to know if it runs. That would be nice. Let's give it a shot here. I did just put tabs on it because I've had them sitting on my desk for way too long. It's like we have no spark. I know it would crank for a while when it sits, but like, this is excessive. Oil pressure building. I can hear the fuel pump. Got fuel. I like it to run because I want to let it warm up. Especially if it's doing something like this. Like, did I do something dumb? Did I unhook the coil pack? I don't know why I would do something like that. I can't really. I got too much stuff in front of this thing, and I pulled it too far forward. Dash piece out of the way. I think that's Carry 1.0's dash. Like, this is all hooked up. This is here. I mean, is this thing full of fuel? I don't know. I can't even get that off. I'm not gonna worry about it. Like, I don't know, man. It's like it don't want to run. You know what I don't have? I don't have a tack. That should do something. That's what it is. I don't have a tack. So we've lost the crank sensor. Is what that seems to be to me. Because I would think I would see that tack moving. And he's down there somewhere. I don't know if you can even see him from here. Here. What can you see? Crank sensor wire. It's plugged in. I mean, I don't know that I like the status of how those wires look, but it's plugged in. I don't know. I'm not a fan of what's going on, that's for sure. Can't see anything up under there, can I? Hell, man, it drove here. I think we lost the crank sensor. I wiggled on the wire and everything. I think we lost the crank sensor. That would make sense, I guess. So, I got a feeling I'll be doing a crank sensor before this thing goes home. Not anytime soon, though. But that's not ideal. Alright, battery's hooked up on Gray Van here. Week after the last attempt at a cold start. This battery's got a charge in it, actually, though, now. Little ticky, there comes oil pressure. Okay, very good. And she's running. Let that old girl run for a little bit. Kind of inch it forward just to keep the tires from flat spotting. Call that a day. Look at that old girl. Do got to come in before we drive this. I do got to loosen this up and actually put this in. Battery clamps are still loose. That's what the pliers are there for. Yeah, there we go. That's a lot better. All right, here we are. We're just taking a little stroll here. Figured I might as well, right? Just out seeing the snow. No salt here, obviously. Just some fresh snow on the storage lot here. But driving pretty good. First time she's driven around in the snow in a long time. So I figure a little putt's not gonna hurt. But running good, charging, everything looks great. Well, there, she took 2 laps around. So obviously tires are looking good. Transmission's working good. She's just starting to come off a cold. I think I'm just starting to feel some warm air in here, which is nice. But I think she did pretty good. Yeah, so Gray Van's alive and well once again. So that's a sight for sore eyes. We got Blueberry, the 91 Grand Caravan, out in the winter weather. Poor old girl drove, I think, for 1 week. We got it put back together, and that was it. Winter came, and she got parked up, which is okay. She's been fired up a few times, but this is the first time I actually drove it out of the carport. I just topped up the tires and everything, just make sure they don't, flat spot or anything. But I think this is a good start to this episode. Now, I've got a feeling that this episode's going to drag out over the next few months, but that's okay. Might as well start working now, right? And our first task here is fix the fuel leak. There's a new grommet for the tank that I should have done originally, but I didn't have one. And, well, when you fill it up over half full, it leaks out of this. So, right now, it's literally on empty. I'll set this stuff right here on the hood. I'll fire it up for you guys. But I think that was the other thing. I think I could have driven it a little more, but I didn't want to put more gas in it when it was on empty, Oh, that just fell off the hood. Nice. As you can see, we're at 212,600 miles. So she's done what? 350 miles? That's pretty good. After sitting for 20 years. But you can see we're on empty. Look at that. She fires right up. But yeah, now's the perfect time to take care of that. So my plan is to bring that grommet inside, let it warm up a little bit more. And then while we're doing that, I'm gonna get the side up in the air here, get this tire off, and I'll get that plastic shielding off. And then I should be able to undo the screws here for the whole filler neck, and we'll just pull the filler neck out. And then we'll put the new gasket in, slide the filler neck back in, we should be good to go. And then I figure I'll put it into town on the back roads, try to keep it away from, any road salt. It doesn't need any more of that, although we did put some undercoating where it counts. And I think we'll fill up the tank. That way she's got some fuel for this coming spring. How about it? Hi. Hi. What do you want? Want me to let you inside? Yeah, I'm on my way. It's freaking cold out here. Well, let's take a look here, the mess I've made. So I got all those out, all the hardware came out. Not too bad in here. Obviously a little rust, which we knew about, but you know, the worst part gonna be is to get that original clamp off. So I'll have to just cut it. Almost looks like it's rotted away, actually. Yeah, we'll deal with that. Hopefully get that rubber hose off of there. And then we'll go ahead and get that grommet pulled out and replaced. No big deal. But I'm going to warm up quick. A little bit of effort, we got that filler neck out. All the bolts came out for those brackets down there, which was kind of unbelievable, considering the shape they're in. So that's what's holding that bracket on. Those ones aren't so bad. But this is something I noticed here. That's the prop valve that was, I figured the prop valve was seized. That doesn't surprise me, but we probably don't need it to be holding on by the brake lines. I do think I've got a bracket, one of these brackets that's not rotted away like that, so come spring or one of these days we'll have to go ahead and replace that, but I figure we'll try to leave some of this alone because we still have to come in and patch up some of these rust holes on the rail here. But just something of note that has let go. Anyway, let's get that old grommet out of there. Just see if we can do it live. Yeah, look, it's just in pieces. There, just like that. Ooh, that's rust watery. Oh, that looks great. How nice. Alright, just like that, the new grommet's in. That's a Spectra Premium branded grommet. Guys, remind me where I got that used tank grommet from, because it's a Dorman grommet. Like an old Dorman grommet. Where the heck did I get that from? Anyway, what I'm saying is wherever I got it from, it already had one of those put in at some point in its life. But I'm just gonna put some lube on this guy real quick. Probably knock some of this rust off inside, and then we'll throw that in there, get it all bolted back up, and I figure we'll go take this thing for a ride, and we'll get some gas put in the old girl. Well, I brought the filler neck in to clean it up here, and unfortunately, there appears to be a rot hole. Are we surprised? No, not really. Now, what am I going to do about it? I don't have a new filler neck on hand. I have this one. This, I believe, is the original filler neck from Blue Van, the 90 grand Caravan. Now, I don't know that it's much better, but maybe there's no holes in it. I got to really poke at some of this rust. It's not that much better. So either I can clean this one up and use it, or I think my better option here is clean this one up and put some tank weld on that and then seal that back up. Because in theory, this check ball should seal it for the most part, but we also don't need it to kind of leak out of there anyway. So I'll clean this up, see what I find. I'll clean this one up, see what I find, and we'll put the best one back in that vehicle. All right, that cleaned up pretty good. So I taped off where we're going to put that tank weld. I'm going to rust treat and put a coat of paint on this, epoxy paint, I think. Just keep it from re-rusting, and then we'll put some tank weld over that and just touch up over top of it. Should be all good to go. That's not bad. Well, I don't have any rust reformers, so we're not going to do that. I've put the tank weld on. I'm letting it cure up. I also taped up these spots, and we're just going to hit it with this epoxy paint here. So this stuff is pretty good for my experience. It's actually pretty expensive, but it's nice paint. It's really nice paint. Use it on like snowmobile skis and stuff too. It works really good for that. But it's a strong paint for dealing with something like this that we want sealed. So this takes about an hour to cure. I'm about 25 minutes into that, so just a waiting game, I suppose, huh? Well, there it is. That turned out frickin' fantastic. You ready? Let's throw this thing back together. Alright, filler neck is in. I've got that bracket in place. Got our new clamp on right there. That's looking pretty decent. The only bracket we got left is that bracket down there for the parking brake assembly, which I don't think I needed to remove technically, but it made it easier. And then just the plastic panel to put in there. And once we get that tire, get this thing fired up, and we'll get her on down the road. Get some fresh fuel in there, and hopefully we got no more leaks. Doesn't she look pretty there? Nice. It's purring like a kitten. Let's get this old girl back on the road. We're gonna try to keep you out of the salt, but you've eaten enough in your life, you'll be okay. Once isn't gonna kill it. It's just over and over and over and over and over. That's what gets you. Oh. All right. I can feel the heat. Oil pressure, no fuel. Temp, coolant's coming up just a little bit. 212, 600. We've got 348 miles on this old girl since she was parked back in 2003 or 4, whatever. You know, same difference. Fun fact for you. See that yard light right there? So sat underneath that yard light was Blondie the 2000 Chrysler Grand Voyager. Right there. That's where we pulled her out. So, isn't that neat? Well, she took 17.5 gallons, and there she is sitting right up at full. I didn't see any leaks so far, especially at the filler neck. That was dry as could be, so I'd say we're looking pretty good. Let's get this old girl home and back under cover until spring. Alright, we made it back. Time to put the old girl back into hibernation. Back in you go. Into safety. Safety in quotes. This thing gets kind of wet in the spring because of the drainage off the field, but you know, I guess it's better than getting snowed on, right? I'm on a brick. Come on. There we go. In you go. Easy does it. Easy does it. I'm on the brick on the rear tires now. There we go. Easy does it. Just like that. She's in. Looks like we put just over 11 miles on the old girl for the first time in the year 2026. Listen to her. She's just sitting there idling away. So I'll see you guys, for me, probably a month or two. You guys, 10 seconds or so. Almost forgot. We gotta check for leaks. Let's make sure we're still good, right? How are we looking? Oh, I see a leak that I've been suspect of. See that right there? Up under the strap. That's a little bit of a weep right there. Well, nothing we can do about it right now. But top of the tank all looks dry. We'll have to go look around the side. Everything else over here looks dry. That's just a weep, so what we're gonna probably end up doing with that is we'll run the tank down again. And what we will do is we will take that strap off and tank weld that. But obviously we can't do that now. So that's just gonna be what it's gonna be. How about over here? These are in the way. Oh. Looking nice and dry right there. Oh yeah, nice and dry. So we fixed one leak. We found another leak in this tank. That's okay. We'll address that soon enough. Don't let me forget that's there. All right. Well, I guess it's out. I'm not even attempting to work on this right now or do anything. I wasn't even trying to film. And, well, I wanted to take Blueberry, the 91 here, for a drive to get parts in the cities, because it was 75 degrees today, and, you know, there's no snow or anything. I figured it was I wanted to, I don't know, bring a second gen out and drive one, you know, while we can. And while I had to get this out, and well, that was an ordeal. Made a trench, that's for sure. This needs gravel really bad. I think at least I got a running start for Blueberry. I'm just gonna gun it and just go, and we should be fine. But the old 84 brand new freaking tires, they drove from here to here, and the whole thing's full of mud now. The whole van is full of mud. My shoes are full of mud. The van is full of mud. Everything is muddy. Poor thing. Sorry, old girl. Whoops. Well, unexpected Blueberry excursion going on here. Our fuel tank is still full, so everything's looking good in that regard, but I'm currently just getting onto the highway right now, onto the US 169, and we're heading towards Minneapolis. Actually, we're heading towards Blaine, so north of the cities, and we're looking to make a parts run for my mom's Tiburon, which I've currently, in the timeline, got tore apart for the timing belt and basic tune-up and stuff. Anyway, with the whole 75-degree day that was today, I figured, you know, the roads are nice, you know, there's no snow. I want to drive something that hasn't been driven in a while, and, you know, Blueberry here is just waiting for us to, you know, take her out on the road. And so, here we are getting onto the highway, and she's cruising. So I'll update you if anything fun happens. I just about smoked a deer, actually, and I jabbed on the brake, and it locked him up. So I actually had to let off the brake, which is wild. But yeah, these brakes were good. So we didn't hit a deer, no casualties yet. Well, the old girl made it to AutoZone. Didn't skip the beat at all. Actually looking pretty decent. I got everything I needed. And let's get on the road and get back home. Oh, Blueberry here has made it back home. There's the secret project we're working on that I needed parts for. And we are sitting at 212,753 miles. Just crossed over 501 miles since we put this girl back on the road after it had been sitting since 2003. And that was the longest trip she'd ever been on, farthest away from home since we got it running. That was, what, 141 miles? Approximately, whatever it was, something like that. It's 140, 150 miles. And did absolutely fantastic. So that's great news there. I'm happy to be driving this old girl again. Happy to be driving a second gen. Blueberry's about to get on the interstate for the first time. This is actually about where I found her, out here by Elko New Market. She's actually just down the road. I passed by the property where this came from. But here we go. Not bad.
Well, here we are with Blueberry here. I got some updates now. So I've been driving it to work the last 2 days this week anyway, the first 2 days I should say. We're up to 213.43. And it's down to a quarter tank because I was gonna run it down so I could putty up this little spot in the fuel tank. And I figured I'd just check in on it here because I'm probably gonna park it now. And sure, the tank looks like it was leaking and then it's getting to the point where it's almost dry now. But then you look up and you see that wet section of fuel line. And I see a drip, 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 drip. It looks like the hard lines back here decided that they are no longer going to be hard lines. It's wet pretty well up to here. So it looks like we're going to have to splice in some hard line. So with that is where I'm going to go next with this part of the video, is we're going to repair all those fuel leaks. In the meantime, I'm going to go park Minivan, or, ooh, not Minivan. I'm going to go park Blueberry out of the way until we can get this fuel system repaired once again. But otherwise, she's been running great. She's been driving good. It's got a little wheel shake. I'm literally just going to chalk it up to these Tornells being junk. But I could probably check lug nuts and stuff, get it up in the air and just shake it down again. Otherwise, you know, like there's no oil leaks. Like, look at this. Look how nice and dry everything is. Look how nice that is. No leaks whatsoever. Radiator fan kind of sounds a little on the not good side, but it's still spinning. It's doing its thing. Yeah, otherwise, no, she's been good. I just unloaded all the groceries, you know, so she's a good grocery getter now. I'll see you guys back when we get into that fuel system. Spring is upon us, and that means that Turnip here, the 1993 Plymouth Grand Voyager, that we rescued almost 2 years ago now, it's time to come out of winter hibernation. So she is about to trade spots with Blondie, the 2000 Chrysler Grand Voyager. Let's make that happen. Let's get this thing out on the road. Looks like I washed it before I put it away, which is awesome. That means I don't have to do that now. Just a little bit of dust on the windshield and everything, but that's nothing huge. Tires all look like they've got air. I don't really think it's been dripping all that much for fluids. A lot of this was from the Saturn this sat on. This is actually the WeatherTech mat for the trunk for my Saturn. So that's kind of sad. I think this looks pretty good. So I figure let's pop the hood, which is going to be an ordeal because it's got a broken hood release. I got to get this headliner off of this thing. And then we'll fire this old girl up after fluid checks. And we'll get her pulled out and on the road. That's what I figure, right? Dome lights are on. We still got power. I've started this thing a few times, so I know the power should be good. But let's get that taken care of. Let's see what we got. How's it going, Turn? Oh, it's nice and cold in here. Oh, this is nice because it's like 75 degrees. It's humid out right now. It's getting warm. A couple of leaves here. No giant mouse nests or anything. Nothing too concerning looking here. Battery is still good. We got a hood light. How about a little bit of condensation in here? See this condensation? It's damp. I think some of that's it being humid today. I'll have to look underneath this whole thing. How's the oil look? Full. It's dark oil. I wonder if this thing needs a change. I'll have to look at the sticker. Coolant reservoir is a little low. Radiator is full though. Brakes. Brake fluid reservoir is full. Washer fluid is full. Power steering is full. Everything looks good to me. I think she's ready to just fire up and just pull on out of here, you know. It's condensation up under here. Oh, this looks good. As you can see, it's fluid film undercoated. Rocker looks pretty decent for what it is. Underbody looks good. Yeah, everything looks good underneath. This is actually a pretty clean van aside from right there, but Yeah, let's see. Will she start? She should. I have no concerns at all whatsoever here. We're showing 159,789 miles. Oh, it's due at 160, so I think she's getting an oil change today. I might go swing and get some oil. That might be the first job. Let's go get some oil. Fuel pump. Radio, most important part. Half a tank of gas. Battery's a little low, but not bad. Oh, and it just, boom, it's immediately running. Oil pressure looks good. Still got the tickies, but not too bad. Yeah, so I guess it needs an oil change. Is that the AC compressor? There's no way, right? I don't think so. No, but might as well find out, right? She's running strong on 6. Let's see what happens here. I hear it. It might be low, but I heard it kick on. Yep. So it's kicking on and out. That means it's got some pressure. It's a little low. Here's the thing about winter. Everything kind of shrinks. So what it does is probably allows some R134 to seep out. So now that it's warm out, everything should expand back out and seal itself back up. Let's, I think we'll charge that up today as well. So that's not too bad at all. A couple of mouse droppings right there. I don't know if that was from when it was at home or here or what. Hopefully not here, but you never know, right? I don't see anything on the dash or anything in here. It smells okay. We'll turn that AC off for now. Turn that off. Ooh, oh, look at all that money. Look at all the pennies in here that are unusable now. That's a 60D. Look at how shiny that is. Hello. Look at all that. Cha-ching. All right. All right, here she is. Turnip is back home with all of her friends. And some new ones. I don't know. I think Turnip was parked before this thing made it home. So, Turnip, meet Cherry. Cherry, meet Turnip. Cherry, Turnip looked like you, minus the engine and stuff being removed. You know, not too long ago. Not too many years anyway, I should say. Anyway, we made it home. I'm gonna check tire pressure. They look good. This is a set of those Tornells I don't like and I will never buy again, but I think this set was actually like good. Like it doesn't shake really bad. There's a rock in the front left hubcap here, so I might pull this off quick, get that rock out of there because I can hear it really, really loud. And then I think I'm gonna wipe down the dash. You know, you see some dust particles and stuff from it sitting and whatever, so I'll wipe the dash down. I think I'll do a quick hit with the vacuum up front and in the back and everything. I'll just kind of get it kind of just together. You know, it doesn't need much, right? And then we'll charge up the AC. And I think we'll take this thing out on the highway. And we'll go get some oil, get a filter. How's the air filter look on this thing? Maybe it deserves an air filter, you know? You know, I'm feeling fancy today. Anyway, we'll get it ready to go. Because I figure I'll drive this tomorrow to work, right? Why not? Maybe I'll look at that hood latch. I think I've got a latch. I really need to fix that again. So we might maybe do that. So I'll keep you posted here. All right, here she is. I got it all vacuumed out. I got the dash wiped down real good. Not bad. Not too bad. You might notice something. Well, maybe you won't, but maybe you will. Notice how shiny and white everything is? Yeah, I cleaned the door jambs, and it might be for the first time ever. I don't know that I did it before, but I did it now, and I did it for a reason. So, something I want to do here, and something I'm trying to do moving forward on everything, is while we have a bunch of 30-year-old vehicles, when we got a bunch of 30-year-old plastics, 30-old rubbers, and so what I'm going to try do, and what I've been doing lately, is I've been putting this rubber seal conditioner on all my door seals and stuff. And that should hopefully kind of soften them up, keep them fresh, keep them from cracking, drying out, tearing, etc., etc. But first you got to clean everything. And I say that because, well, you ever had problems where like your doors will stick to things and they'll kind of just not want to open? Well, all this dirt and stuff that's on these seals sticks to the door, sticks to the seal, sticks to everything. So I tried to clean most of it off. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to soak a rag and we're going to wipe down all the seals. That'll, one, it'll help clean it up, and two, it'll soak it into the seal, hopefully. And it's just a little maintenance item, you know. But, you know, it's not a perfect clean. It definitely could use cleaned again. So, you know, the next time a guy comes in, hopefully a little more of that dirt will come off. But it's definitely way better than it was. And obviously I left that alone because that's fluid film oil and stuff. But look how white that is. I mean, the paint is mostly, aside from it being Chrysler paint, is in really good shape. So, but this side it looks on the interior. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Headliner's still up. This is the junkyard headliner. Still up. Still have those issues in that back corner there. That's just how it was. But it's not too bad. It looks good for now. Do need to get these rear hatch struts on order. Right now it's holding it, but it got weak earlier and it let it down, and I walked right into it over here, and I've got a massive lump on my head and a headache. Be surprised I didn't dent the darn thing. I hit that full force. That hurt a lot. Alright, so I fixed that hood release for now. Don't get the aftermarket ones. You're best off finding an OEM one. The plastic's too flexible, the cable's too long. But what I did is I got a hose clamp where the cable slots in and sits in place in the handle. I put a hose clamp over the end of that so it can't flex and slip off, and that seems to kind of work. The other part is the spring. Well, and I think part of it's the plastic being too flexible. The spring is very strong on this latch, so I think that's a lot of it. But hey, it's open now. We're gonna get the van fired up. I'm gonna get the AC charged up, and then I think we're good to hit the road. All right, she took about a can and a half and sitting pretty right there, just about 30. Compressor staying on, and most importantly, we got cold air inside the cab. So AC's done. I got one more task, is just check the air pressure on all the tires. Let's hit the road. And tire pressure looks good on all four. They're showing all four 35, so these aren't losing any air, which is awesome news. The old girl back out on the highway where she belongs. She's cruising just fine. Got ice cold AC, the radio jams. And I mean, she's ready for the road. I don't know what else you want. Besides oil, I guess. Welcome to the valley, everyone. Turnip here's doing absolutely fantastic. We're cruising, AC is running. You can definitely tell that either the compressor's got some drag in it, and or more likely this engine's a little down on power, because it doesn't like to get up and go with the AC running. It kind of kicks the RPMs down, you know. But it holds its own. We're doing 65, 70 grand, we're going down a hill right now. And this thing's been sitting for 5 months, guys. I pulled this thing into storage, what, end of October-ish, if I remember correctly. I think it was before November. But this thing's been sitting 5 months. I just turned the key, fired it up, and we drove it, and here we are on the highway cruising 70 miles an hour. You know, it's not bad. It's not the worst thing in the world to let a car sit, at least for a little bit, you know. And that's kind of one of the biggest myths I've ever heard. Oh, you let your car sit 3 months, you got to change every single piece of rubber, all the fluids are junk. That is one of the biggest myths there ever was. Don't let anybody that tells you that scare you when you're looking at a project, an old car that's been sitting. Oh no, that thing's been sitting 5 years. The gas, you got to replace the gas tank, all the fuel lines, you got to replace every injector. I've fired up cars on 10-year-old gas. Granted, it depends on how and where it was stored, and obviously check it first and get a feel. You know, if it smells rancid, like, it's bad. But like, if it doesn't smell that bad, you're probably all right, you know. So don't let some of those people scare you, per se. Obviously, long term, you're going to want to do some general maintenance on the vehicle, but the car only needs what it needs. The Caravan only needs what she needs. And here we are cruising 70 miles an hour down the highway.
Hit by Duran got as high as number 16. Last week it fell to 22, now drops to 33. Here's Save a Prayer.
And we're back at home here. We got all the goods there. Got a MicroGuard Select filter, which there's a reason for that. And right there is 5 quarts of Valvoline Restore and Protect motor oil. A couple of you guys have always pointed out, why don't you guys use that? Why don't you use that? I usually use the high mileage full synthetic, but O'Reilly's got a deal going on. If I buy a MicroGuard, I think it's Valvoline technically. I buy a MicroGuard Select filter, I buy the Valvoline Restore and Protect oil, it's $38, and I get a free tumbler on a rebate. So I guess I get a Valvoline tumbler in a couple weeks. I don't know. So we're going to throw that oil in it real quick. And then this van is done. It's ready to go. And that'll be that for this vehicle. Alright, she's up on the ramps here. Let's take a look underneath. I've already poked my head under here. But it looks pretty good. Not too bad. A little weeping from that oil pan. Nothing I'm concerned about. Trans pan looks good. Back of the transmission's a little damp here. You know, a little weeping going on from seals and stuff. Not too concerned about any of that. The rest of the vehicle is looking a-okay. Underneath the vehicle right there. Still rocking that same muffler that's been on it. Still nice and quiet as can be. You know, I'm 99.5% sure that's an OEM muffler. And it's just there. Rocker panels are looking good, especially passenger side. Oil undercoating's holding up pretty good. Could use a fresh coat. Not too bad. Fuel tank looks good. Axle looks good. Everything is looking decent. Heck, these are the axles that were in it. We really didn't replace too many parts on this van. It did not take very much to get up and running. So, not too shabby at all. And if you look right up here up on this oil filter, that tells us the story. It reminds me anyway. January 20th, 2025 at 1:56,416. Gotta always try to do that. I need to be more diligent about it right there. That's been very helpful. All of a sudden I just hear a drip, and that would be the air conditioning. See that right there? That is the AC vent deciding that it's dripping now. So that's all the condensation, and it's going right into my oil bucket. Perfect. Anyway, let's get that oil plug off of this. Get this steaming hot oil out of here, and let's get some fresh stuff in it and call her good. Alright, you guys along here. I thought I had that loosened. Oh, I do. There it goes. This is going to be hot, by the way. Really hot. So we're going to try to be very careful about this. Ow. I got hot oil all over my arm, and the wind is blowing. Well, it's oil. Oh, I forgot about that. I had a batch of Mopar filters at one point. I think Walmart had a deal on them, and they were like cheaper than any other filter you could get. So here one is right there. Came right off by hand. As you can see, it's starting to drip. Get that spun off of there quick. Well, 5 quarts of fresh oil, brand new filter, should be good to go here. Come on, there she goes. That oil must have zinc or something in it. I think I can smell it. It's something about good oil that it's got a particular smell to it. That must have zinc in it. Finally, it is time to get Caravan, my 1993 Dodge Grand Caravan LE, out of winter storage and back on the road for this summer. It looks like I got the battery unhooked. I'm pretty sure that this went dead over the winter, and I had to bring it back and actually charge it up at some point. And I think that's why it is unhooked. Oh, good, it's alive. Okay, I brought a jump box just in case, but that looks good. I'd like to fix this. I should have some tools to do that real quick. Let me get this all tightened up and cleaned up, and we'll see if she'll fire up for the first time, at least in a few months. I know I've been out here, I think February, I think was the last time I fired it up. Oil looks half a quart low. Pretty dark. I'll have to look at the oil change sticker. That is not the current oil change sticker, I'll tell you that much. Coolant. Yeah, it looks good. How's this air filter look? Apparently, I forgot to do the air filter on Turnip, which oh, this one looks good. On this side, anyway. Looks like I've at least done it. Dusty, not bad. Still got brakes, yeah, looks good. Power steering. You do all the checks. That's a little low. Ooh, okay. Needs some power steering topped up. We'll see what we got. Overflow looks like it's got fluid in it. How's the trans? It's got something. It should show overfull because it's off. It's been sitting. Yeah, it shows well overfull. Perfect. Anything underneath it? Is that from this? That looks like it's from this. That must be the power steering. That's probably where it went, huh? Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, let's see what I can do. I'll get those topped off, get the battery hold down hopefully, and get the clamp tightened. And I think we should be good fired up. Alright, tires look like they got some air in them. Don't look too bad. How's the spare look? Full, although it could probably use tighten down a little bit. Still need to undercoat this thing. This one hasn't been undercoated, but it's been pretty rust-free, so I think that's why I got away with it. Power steering's topped off, battery clamps on, terminals are tightened down. See what happens, right? Hello, friend. What are we showing on the clock? 179, 233, so she should be rolling 180 pretty soon. Smells like Caravan, and here's the same she's always smelt. Chrysler Infinity with a cassette deck. I got a surprise for us here in a little bit. Headliner is still about as up as it was. A little bit of bubbling going on there, but not too bad for what it is. Oh yeah, we've got the dash cam in here still. I wonder if that works. I don't know. Probably got it unhooked. Oh yeah, it's unplugged. Okay, well. Fuel pump still works. How much gas? Oh, it's full almost. 3/4 of a tank. Check that oil pressure. Tick, 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 and then there she goes. Just like that, fires right up. And oil change sticker. So we're doing just under 2,000 miles. Not too bad, so that should be all right. We were half a quart low on oil, so I'll top that up when I back it out of here. Well, back it out here. Remember, Caravan does not have reverse either, like the 2005, which is just outside waiting to go in for winter. All right. Most importantly, does the radio still work? Uh-oh. Oh, it does. Okay. I was scared. Lost all my presets. We lost a speaker in the back almost. Well, we're not out of the woods yet. We might have to take old Van home one more time. Listen to this little kind of rattly noise. Not quite sure what it is. I don't know, I think it's a pulley or something, but then I started looking. Drip, 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 drip. Oh, that's exciting. Better shut that off. Hopefully it's just a loose hose clamp, but those hose clamps look rusty, and I don't know that I've done the fuel filter on this one. So I might need to go get some hose and a filter probably. Let's see what I can do. Well, to me, this clamp is junk. This one's junk. That one's junk. That one's Mr. Shiny. And I think I vaguely remember something about this a while ago, a couple of years ago, where I think this clamp broke on me when I was on the road, and I think I ended up replacing it and just kind of sending it, because this hose is pretty weathered. This is shot. And I wonder if I did that and then I forgot because it stopped leaking. But I wonder if it just, I mean, it looks tight to me, but I wonder if we don't just loosen it up, move the hose up a little bit, and tighten it back up. At least to get us home. I'm going to try that. We'll see what I can do there. But these fuel lines actually look pretty. Not up here so much, but back here. They don't look that bad, but they're a little crusty. Like I said, this van hasn't really... I undercoated the insides of the rockers and stuff. You can see the dirt that's kind of stuck to it. But yeah, look underneath there. That's nice. But I never like fully undercoated it. Yeah, the fuel lines over, or the brake lines over there look, she's probably due for some fuel lines and brake lines coming up here at some point. Alright, let me see what I can do about that. Well, I moved the hose clamp up a little bit. Well, it's not dripping anymore. But first stop, it's going to be, I think, Napa, and I'm going to get some high-pressure fuel line, a couple of clamps, see if they got a filter, and, yeah, otherwise... I think we're ready for the road. In the 05, my two vans without reverse. Sitting here just under 327,000. As good as ever. I'm gonna get this pulled in, parked away for the winter. I did clean it. I vacuumed it out today. I just took it to the car wash. You can see she's all nice and shiny. And that's the end of this one for the, well, not for the year, but for the summer, hopefully. If I have to bring the 05 out, it means things have gone wrong. Alright, the 05 is tucked away, nice and happy in here. She should be good to go for next winter. I think the only ticket items on this thing is maybe back tires, because these are getting pretty old, but maybe. We'll see. They're alright, they look fine. Alright, I'll see you next fall. Alright, well, nobody's got a fuel filter itself locally, so we're gonna rock the filter that's on it and just put some new hoses and clamps on. But get a little surprise here. I was at the thrift store this morning and found us some cassettes here. Thanks, Terry. Let's see what we can do here. Side are we? I guess we'll find out, huh? Well, the auto reverse works on this cassette stereo. Yeah! Got some fuel injection hose, got some clamps. We should be good to roll. Look what I just spotted. Tell you, this van really cleans up now. I didn't clean it. I guess I did it last fall, but boy, does she shine. Happy to see her on the road. I cannot believe that we just spotted that second-gen Caravan. It's been so long since not so long. I saw one last year, a couple, but it's been 4, 5, 6 months, you know. And that was if you guys caught it, did you guys catch it? That was a '91 Caravan, because it had the metal handles unlike my plastic ones. That was a cool spot, and it was in really good shape too. Paint was pretty good. Hood was peeled, but you know, that's normal. I mean, even look at mine, all original paint still. All right, let's get Gray Van down the road. Let's get her on the highway. Let's get her home, and let's get moving. Well, there you have it. Original 33-year-old fuel hose and clamps minus one that I guess I replaced. So that's a reuser right there, but I'll get some new hose cut and some new clamps installed and we should be ready to roll. Alright, good as new. Take a look at that. All new line, all new clamps. Special shout out to the local Napa, gave me the preferred customer pricing on that injection hose because that stuff is not cheap. But yeah, she's all good to go for another 30 years. Well, until that fuel filter needs replaced, but it seems fine for now, so we're gonna roll with it. Well, I turned the AC on in the van and the fan clutch and everything kicked on, but the AC wasn't kicking on, so I was like, well, darn, I guess it didn't hold a charge over the winter. And so I went to add this and I pulled it on and the gauge was sitting all the way up here. And I'm like, oh, so it does have a charge. Why wouldn't it kick on? That was weird. Turns out the plug down here had come a little undone. And so I clicked that back in and boom, the AC kicked on. It's blowing. It's not as cold as this one, as Turnip, but it's blowing. I think this really, it needs a new dryer. Might need a new condenser. In fact, I know I think it needs a dryer because you can watch the gauge and it kind of goes like this. So it's not, the little pressure valve in there is not doing what it should anymore. Which is, okay, whatever. But hey, it's blowing pretty cool, so I'm not worried about it. It's not too bad anyway. But it held a complete charge over the winter. I didn't have to add anything to it. So it's sealed for now. Also put a new fuse for the rear wiper in because those always blow. That's just Caravan things. But she's good. She's on the road. The AC's blowing. It's not cold, but it's cool. So I'm definitely going to say that what do you call that little isolation valve thing for the low and high pressure, which on these I believe is inside the dryer. It's she's probably a little clogged with some stop leak. Hey, the stop leak stopped the leak, but it also kind of restricted the flow of that, is my guess. Because really that gauge should sit pretty solid. It was bouncy. But it's blowing cool. It's not too bad for the weather. It's like, well, it's 68 outside and it's blowing cooler than that. So that's not too bad, right? Driving pretty good. I think that's it. That's all the basic stuff this thing needed. And Gray Van is ready for the roads. So last thing I remember is that we had a fuel leak when I pulled it into the little shed thing over there. Actually, I think we had 2 leaks. I've already been under here this morning, as you can see. And if we take a look, there's Exhibit A, leaky fuel line over there. And Exhibit B, I believe, is right there on that tank strap. Now, I think this thing's got less than a quarter tank in it. And we're downhill this way, so I think we take that strap off and we go ahead and just kind of clean up that spot, get some metal there. We should be able to put some tank weld on that and call that a day. As for the line, I think it's leaking right up there, so we're gonna have to cut that section of line out and put a rubber hose in, and then that should be good to go. And then this thing is technically drivable and roadworthy-ish again. Now, something else I noticed while I was up under here this morning. If we work our way back to this shock here, I noticed, I'm like, it seems like it's not, you know, all the way in, right? It's because it's not. I don't know if that loosened up or bound up or what, but I'm going to put a wrench on that. The other one seems fine. See, it's in just a little more. Can't spin this, doesn't play. I bet you this is one of the clunks I've been feeling. Right there. So, yeah, so if you look right here, you can see it's dripping. So it's actively, it's leaking. It's running downhill, so it looks like it's right there. You can see where it's wore in. There's the hole right there in the line. So yeah, I figure we just take and cut it back about there maybe, and we'll just section in a soft, or see if I've got a whole new adapter piece for this corner. I've done that before too, where I just replace this chunk and then splice it in with a hose. You could do either, but yeah, look at this. It's actively leaking out of there because there's pressure in the fuel line still. Mint. Alright, we're up underneath the tank here, and I've got our patch of tank weld epoxy, kind of putty, in place there. And this is what I use here, or what I've been using. Works pretty good. You just cut a little chunk off, it's a whole tube, and then you just knead it together, wearing gloves, because this stuff is toxic. And then you just kind of knead it into place there, after you kind of clean up the area, and it should stick and cure to the metal there, and that should be sealed. And as you can see, I've got the hose off of the fuel line here. I've got it pulled down. Here, let's see if I can get you a good angle. There you go, I got it pulled down, and I've got a pipe cutter on there, and I'm gonna kind of cut that line back. I can already see where the hole is in the line, but we'll cut it back, and we'll see if we can splice it, and then reinstall the line with the splice, and we should be good to go there for fuel leaks. We'll fire it up, see if we see any more leaks, and then I think we'll bring it into town. We'll get it filled up, and we'll make sure the tank doesn't leak anywhere else. And then she should be good enough for the road, at least for now. And hopefully, one of our mystery clunks has gone too. You're upside down now. It's okay, so am I. That one right there, that clunk. Hopefully that clunk is gone. And then I did zip tie that thing back up, because I don't remember if I caught it on cam or not, but the little prop valve, which isn't really doing anything anyway. The prop valve is seized, but it's just more of a junction for the lines. It was kind of bouncing around there, and I didn't, because that's still original line right there, by the way. Those are original brake lines, that front half. I didn't want those to get excessively flexed when they didn't need to be, so I zip tied that in place, so that should be secure-ish. At least for now. As you can see, we've got some rust repair to deal with, including that, but that's later. We got to keep it drivable first, right? Alright, got the line out, and then I filled it with some WD-40 after I sanded this down just to verify where the leak was. And as you can see, it's coming out of that spot right there. So, I think we're going to section the line back just at the bend, and then rubber hose all the way out to there where it connects back. Double hose clamp it, should be good to go. Alright, got ourselves a new chunk of line, or hose here. As you can see, I made it just a little bit longer right there. That way we've got enough room to double clamp. And the key here is to have your clamps in opposite directions for full clamping power. And then I sanded down the end of the line here, as well as the end of the line on the vehicle. Just get our best sealing surface possible with this rubber hose. And this right here should be an adequate repair to repair that hole right there, at least until we find more holes in this line. But that is a problem for later. I know I said it's a problem for later, but I was looking at this line, and that looks like it's damp from the PB blaster I put in there, and it looks like it too. All right, here's take 2 on the repair line. So I got this section here, and then rubber line all the way through. And we have to keep this section here just because of the rubber line that is up under the tank. We have to splice these two together. And I want to keep this fitting for if and when we actually get a new line put in under the van instead of the splice work. But this should do for now. Hopefully we've got the entire section that's rotten, at least super rotten out. And we don't leak any more fuel. Let's find out. Alright, she should be all fixed. Fuel strap is back in. As you can see, we've got some new lines here. Got some brand new zip ties. And our new hose all the way up to there. So that should be good to go in theory. We're going to find out here in a second. Shall we fire the old girl up? Should stop losing fuel pressure now too. That was the thing that it always did when it sat. I wonder why. Sounds good. Take a look at, shall we? Now, we won't know on the tank one until we're done filling it back up, but as far as the line goes, we're dry over here. Come on, up here. And so far, we are dry up here. Now, it looks good all the way up to the front, not too bad at all. think we're fixed. Got a little bit of water coming out of the exhaust here on this clamp. Not too bad, nothing to worry about. This thing's been sitting for a couple months. Definitely some condensation in the muffler and the exhaust system. Should be able to dry that out here when we take it for a spin to go get some fuel. Definitely got to get that out of there. We don't want the exhaust. That's how your exhaust rots out, because they don't run long enough and they build up a lot of condensation inside. That locks that back brake up. So you might have saw me playing around with the brakes there. And I think I knew this already, but where that prop valve is seized, we get a lot of brake pressure to the rear brakes, which I guess is a good thing if you know how to use it. But it locks those things up on gravel, which is fine. That's a good thing, I suppose. Not a bad thing. We're walking up here because inside the van here on the passenger seat, it's a couple of things. One, new insurance card that's been there for a couple months now, and then two, I believe that is a crank sensor, which we're gonna maybe put in. This is an old standard crank sensor. Ours is running okay for now. It still does that weird cutty outy thing, so we're gonna leave that. And then I got a phone mount. So I'm thinking we're gonna put ourselves a phone mount right up here, or maybe right here probably. That was my thought. So I'll throw that up on there, and then we should be good to take it on the road. Just about to take off in the van here. I got some used oil that I'm going to drop off. And I have not tried that cassette deck in this stereo yet. So I've got us a cassette. Does work. It's got auto reverse and it kicked in too. Yep. Alright, so that works pretty good. This is the auto reverse button. So if we do this, yep, plays the other way. Oh, that's nice. And then to fast forward and reverse is that, and I think to eject is both. Ha, look at that. Nice, that plays good. Guess I made a mistake. Well, I made it home. As you can see, I put some miles on it today. I did some errands running. Got me a few new cassettes. And most importantly, it's running good. Fires up. No problem. It's running great. And if you take a look down here, everything looks nice and dry. You can see our little putty patch. Look up at the fuel lines. All the fuel lines look dry. It's not dripping. I think we got it at least for now, you know. She's patched back together, so I feel comfortable taking that around, keeping it back on the road.
And with that, that is the end of this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this video on the entire fleet of Caravans. Well, some of them. And I hope you enjoyed me getting these up and running for the spring. I've been out driving them back and forth to work, out running errands all this last month. As you can see, the last clip in this video was shot 21 days ago. It is currently June 21st. That was taken on the 1st of June. And Hopefully, coming up here next episode, we'll be back on the 1990 Plymouth Voyager that we saved out in Big Lake, Minnesota last fall. We've got a lot of work to do. I've done a lot of work that you guys have not seen yet, and I cannot wait to bring you guys along. And as we get caught up with that project, I also cannot wait to get back on the 84 Dodge Minivan. I know you guys have been asking about it, quite a few of you. Trust me, I've been itching to work on this van. I did a little bit of work this spring and a lot of prep work, but we just got to get all these other things knocked out. I've got a lot of projects. I didn't have a lot of time this spring, and I wasn't where I was hoping I would be right now, but we're getting caught up. So I cannot wait. We've got a lot of work to do on that van. I cannot wait to get it completely roadworthy and back on the road where it belongs. And we've also got a few other surprises along the way. With that, thank you guys for watching. I will see y'all next time.